I found a video from someone who called Dave Ramsey from my hometown talking about real estate. So you knows we got to respond to it. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, my name's AJ. Welcome back to the Wealthy Idiot Show. Before we get too far into it, make sure you like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. Smash that like button as hard as you can. We greatly appreciate it. Now let's get into it. So I found a video from someone from my town in San Jose, California, who is having problems with real estate. They called in to Dave Ramsey. His name's Christian. Christian, if you see this video, hit me up, man. DM me. We'll get you on. Maybe I'll take you out to some coffee. We'll talk about it. I got some ideas for you. But hopefully this video helps you out, helps out Christian, and we'll see what the response is from my good buddy and best pal, Dave Ramsey. Let's get into it.
Christian's with us in San Jose. Hi, Christian. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello, Mr. Ramsey. Hello, Mr. Camel. How you guys doing?
Great, man. What's up?
Hey, so my question is whether or not I should sell my home.
So you said, hey, Mr. Camel. Mr. Camel's over there like, nobody calls me that. That's my dad.
With my wife and either rent something out or buy a new home.
Okay, why would you do that?
So right now we live in Hollister, California. Our commute is about an hour. When we do commute, usually we just stay with my mother-in-law, so we're rarely ever at home.
Okay.
That's got to be frustrating. So he's about an hour south of San Jose. So for those of you who don't live in this area, San Jose is extremely expensive. It's one of the most expensive places in America. It even passed San Francisco and New York in a lot of cases. So people have resorted basically, if you want to buy a home here, you kind of have to live way outside of San Jose. And so people will buy homes like an hour or more away. Hollister's like an hour commute if you're not considering traffic. It's more if you're considering traffic. And it sounds like he bought a whole house in Hollister, which I'm sure he's proud of. And then he doesn't spend a lot of time there, and it's got to be frustrating to pay that, mortgage bill every month and just think like, we're not actually living here. So like, what are we even doing? So, I get the frustration there. He's living with his mother-in-law, which, can't be fun, and then, that commute, man, that's rough.
Well, it does sound like a move is in order in the direction of your work. What do you make of your household income?
Together we make approximately 180 to 200,000 a year.
Cool. That's good news. Well, you live in a super expensive area, so I was hoping.
So he's making good income. So if you live in this area, you got to make an income that looks like that. I mean, I know that sounds like a crazy income to most of America, and quite honestly, it is a crazy income. But here, when your baseline houses are like $1.5 million. And rent is, for a 2-bedroom place is going to be like $3,000 or more, and everything is more expensive. Gas is like $7 a gallon. You got to get paid a lot just to be basically low middle class around here.
You made some money. Yeah. So if you sell and rebuy in the other area that's closer, does that work?
No.
The thing is, right now our current home, we owe $545,000. It's approximately 100 or 830,000.
Mm-hmm.
So 550, 830. So he almost has $300,000 worth of equity. So 280 worth of equity
Is what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
But everything we're looking for in San Jose, California, is approximately 1.2 million.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, at least.
Great news is you make 180, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what I would do is quit looking at 1.2. I mean, that may be the worst house in San Jose. It's possible. That's a super high area. But I'm going to really try to find the house that's even worse than that you're just really ashamed of and hate and at least make your move and get your life back on the commute, and then start saving like crazy and move up into a little better house in that same community then. But I'm not, all of this together does not equal buy something you can't afford and beats the crap out of you with the monthly payment, and you're sitting in the corner sucking your thumb because your house poor.
Okay, about 50% agree with Dave Ramsey on that one. Yeah, do not put yourself in a position where you feel like you have to buy this house, so you sell your soul and your arm and your leg to get it, and then you can't afford the payments, and then you're struggling every month. It's not worth it. It's people really want that house. I get it. Dream houses and whatnot. There's like a symptom whenever you're buying a house. They call it like the dream house symptom, something to that effect, where you feel like if you're going to put that much money into something, it's got to be the thing that you actually need to have, like that you dreamt of this whole time. You're not willing to buy something way less. So he could basically switch to a condo, right? He could sell his house and then go to a condo, and it would be pretty even. A condo in San Jose would be about what he's paying now in Hollister for a house. The dilemma is, yeah, he's going to downsize, and it's going to suck. And what Dave Ramsey's talking about is like, don't sell your soul just because you know it's going to suck, right? Because it'll suck worse. You're putting yourself in a new problem of a situation if you do that. What I would say is, and I've talked about this in other stuff, if you take a look at some of the real estate episodes that I've made, there's a cost, like whenever you buy your real estate for yourself, there's a cost to it, right? And then calculating that cost is important. So we often think of the cost as how much money is going out, but that's not necessarily true. So for real estate that you live in, you're going to get a tax break for a certain amount of that. So I think it's up to $700,000 or $800,000. So in San Jose, you only get a tax break up to a certain point, but you still get a little bit of a tax break. You're paying down the principal on your loan, so you're buying more of your house as time goes on. So you're not that's not really a cost to your house, and your house is appreciating. So if you take all those things together, and I'm not the biggest fan of counting appreciation here in San Jose. I think it's artificial, so I don't think it's going to last forever. So maybe I wouldn't count that one. So take all the rest of them and figure out what your actual cost is: interest payments, taxes, insurance, etc. What the actual cost of owning that property is. If it's more than a similar property to rent, which I'm going to tell you right now it is, because I've done all the math on it here for San Jose, go ahead and rent. Take the difference that you would have paid and invest it. Because the idea is like, okay, you're buying an investment, you're paying for your mortgage, but you're buying an investment. That's only true if you can't rent that same property or a better property for less money, because you could just invest that difference anyways and then live in a better property. So this is where I disagree with him a little bit. I think that Christian could go find a home to rent that's probably equivalent to the one he has in Hollister. It's probably cheaper than the one he has in Hollister. He takes the difference of what he would have paid to buy a $1.2 million home here, and he invests that money intensely. He'd come out pretty on the other side.
Nothing is worth that.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, don't do that.
So can you split the difference, and maybe you live 20 minutes out from San Jose, and you can find a place that's, $800,000,
It's just
$700,000.
expensive.
No, 20 minutes out is what he's talking about. I mean, that's just, you're just dealing with Silicon Valley, man. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, San Jose proper is like 1.5. 20 minutes out of San Jose is like 1.2. You got to get an hour or more to start hitting prices that don't just sound dumb.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's gross. I mean, it's a ridiculous world when you make $180,000 and can't live in. That's a lot. That's a crazy world. But it is the world you're in, dude. I mean, it's.
You got kids?
Yeah, I mean, I think you start trying to make the move, but you just make it super conservative and uncomfortable. You're going to choose your discomfort.
Yeah. Choose
the hour commute or a house that sucks as a stepping stone to a house that doesn't suck, and that you build up with because your income, you're young enough, your incomes are going to continue to go up. You're in that market, and man,
that's tough. Because even with $280 down on the new one, on a 1.2, you're looking at an astronomical monthly payment.
Oh yeah.
Even making $180.
It's just hard.
But that's, you don't get a pass on math.
You gotta have the income to do the deal. Regardless, you don't get a pass just because I chose to live there. It means you can't live there or whatever. So it's when I was growing up, we lived across the tracks on the other side of the tracks over here. Literally, I mean, behind me there's some tracks, and so one county over from here. And this county that we're in is a very wealthy county. And we used to talk about the rich people that lived over here. And we went, you can't live over there. We couldn't afford to live over here. We weren't bad people. We weren't poor people. We just couldn't afford to live over here.
Yeah.
It's expensive. And so that's just what you're facing. I mean, sometimes you look across the tracks and you just can't afford to live over there. And until your income changes or something else changes.
You got to adjust your expectations. It's hard to do.
That's hard.
So what he's saying at the end there isn't entirely wrong. If you have that dream house syndrome where you're looking for that dream house and you can't get out of very specific things, so like a family with like 2 kids is still looking for a house that has 5 bedrooms or something like that. Like if you're stuck in this sort of mindset, you're going to end up being house poor. You're going to buy too much house for what you can afford. Now, I don't think that Christian's in a situation where he has to sacrifice because, he has to choose his pain. I don't think that's true. So as I explained before, he could rent here in some place nice and save money, and he could take the difference and invest it. In fact, what he could do is sell his house. He's got $230K worth of equity, I think we determined. He's going to lose a little bit of that. You have to pay the closing costs, so you can't get around that, but he could take that money and buy multiple real estate properties in another state. If he buys real estate correctly, like let's say he goes and buys like 2 duplexes, 2 fourplexes, he can make enough income from those fourplexes out of state to build equity, to get cash flow, to get appreciation, all of it tax-free, use that cash flow on whatever it is that he's renting here in San Jose. He could rent something nice here in San Jose, and then he takes the difference of what he's saving by renting and then goes out and invests more. Maybe buy more real estate, buy some index funds, etc. There's going to be a point in time where this sort of flips on him, where he can look at the math and he can say like, okay, well, I could actually buy a property here now if he really wanted to. Or maybe he just really enjoys the fact that the investing is growing at such a rapid rate that he's like, like it's going great. Maybe I'll find a job somewhere else. My skills transfer to another place like Austin, called Silicon Valley 2.0. And he hops over there and he buys himself something super nice for way cheaper. And he's in cash flowing all that money and he's sitting in a good spot. The moral of the story is the options are usually not binary. It's not like live far away, live close, pick your pain. That's not the case. Sorry, Dave. Gotta disagree with you again on this one. I think that he could take advantage of doing the numbers, crunching it and figuring it out, and then investing super hard to get into a place in about 10 years where he could have his pick of whatever he wanted and he could live comfortably and nicely in the meantime. So the house that I live in right now, it's a big house. It's a 5-bedroom house. We live in a great neighborhood and I'm renting it because it's cheaper to rent it than it would be to buy the house next door that's for sale. And then I can take the difference and invest it in another state, and then that cash flow is paying for this. Right? So I get the investment, I get the appreciation that people get when they talk about buying their home. My money is more liquid. I actually get liquid money from it, but then I could sell the houses if I needed to. And then I'm investing in index funds on top of that. So there's ways to run these math equations that make things make more sense. And so Christian, if you're watching this, and I hope you see it someday, give me a call, hit me up. We'll work something out. Maybe we'll do an episode together or something. We'll figure out what it is that you did. Or if you haven't done it yet, because this is a new episode, we'll get together. Maybe we'll crunch some numbers and I can show you how to make this happen. So that would be a lot of fun. In the meantime, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't miss that. Check out wealthyidiots.com for all the cool tools and articles and stuff we're posting there. Thanks for stopping by.